sitting out here and it's getting pretty chilly. Hopefully I can draw my bow back. He's up and feeding. He's coming up right below us. It's about go time, so I'm gonna get in position.
It begins with a legendary pioneer in wildlife filming. Wilderness, adventure, and fair chase trophies define him. A son adds to the legacy and becomes the voice for a generation of hunters. Today, the third generation pursues trophy big game in places where success comes from skill, determination, and grit. Now, 60 years of hunting tradition comes down to one defining moment.
We're the Eastmans. We've been filming and hunting for over 60 years and 3 generations, and these are just a few of our adventures.
This is Eastmans Hunting TV. It's big game hunting, and it's as real as it gets. Eastman's Bowhunting Journal is brought to you by Mossy Oak, Sportsman's Warehouse, Zeiss, Savage Arms, Bowtech, Technu, Yeti Coolers, and Eastman's Bowhunting Journal.
Hi, I'm Guy Eastman, your host, and this is Eastmans Hunting TV. On today's episode, we're gonna go to Montana and chase bugling bull elk. As you can see, the leaves are turning, and there's no better time to be in the backcountry than right now. We're gonna tag along with Dan Pickar as he chases trophy bulls in his home state of Montana, public land DIY. So let's not waste any time. Let's go check in with Dan at the trailhead as he's getting ready to head into the high country after big bugling bulls. Dan and Jordan just wrapped up filming Jordan's Montana elk hunt. Now Dan has just a little bit of time for himself and wants to try and strike while the iron's still hot by punching his own Montana General elk tag.
Let's keep working down the ridge and post up and listen for a little bit. See if we can figure out where they're going. Just hope this wind holds. We're sneaking in on these bulls. The wind is squirrely. But they're pretty hot, so we're not calling. We're just sneaking in from above.
As a Montana native, Dan is a very experienced elk hunter and makes just the right call here. A common mistake all too many elk hunters make is to call too much when the bulls are already fired up on their own. For some hunters, this situation is just too tempting.
We gotta stay in the shade.
This scenario can be a real exercise in patience and self-control, as you have to just sit there and listen to them bugle. Just remember, too much calling can have the reverse effect and shut a hot bull right down.
This portion of the show has been brought to you by Hunt by Onyx Maps, land ownership hunting maps. Eastman's Hunting and Bowhunting Journals are the #1 magazines for Western big game trophy hunters. Now, for a limited time, subscribe and we'll send you a gift absolutely free, plus shipping and handling. Call to subscribe or get it digitally now. Eastman's Bowhunting Journal is brought to you by Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. Yeti Coolers, wildly stronger, keep ice longer.
Welcome back to Eastmans Hunting TV. Dan Pickar is quickly closing the distance on some very hot bulls. It sounds like the two herd bulls are in a fight, leaving them completely oblivious to Dan's advance.
Fight.
Dan's elk hunting experience pays off as he uses the rut-crazed bull's distraction against them and finds himself right in the middle of a gnarly bull-elk showdown.
There's a bull. They moved up. If we just would have stopped in that opening, the wind finally got us. They're riding hard. We could hear them fighting. They're moving this way on the mountain, and we're trying to bring them up from the rear and trying to get on them. And this thick stuff, that's how it goes. They finally moved up, and this other nice bull winded us finally at the bottom we always had. So close. The rut is on in Montana.
Eastman's Bowhunting Journal presents advanced tips and tactics. Brought to you by Eastman's Bowhunting Journal magazine.
For today's tip, we're going to talk about some of the scenarios we encountered during this hunt. We got on this group of elk. As we sat there and listened to this herd for a while, we determined that there was probably the dominant bull was the one that was most vocal, and there were some other satellites, and then another bull that wanted to get in and get some of the cows from the herd bull. As these elk started moving from their bedding area to the feeding area in the afternoon, our tactic here was to simply get in front of them. It was our first time hunting in this area. We really didn't know where they were headed, so we just kind of moved in from above as they were moving side hill across the mountain. From our experience in the past, when you want to kill the biggest bull, the herd bull, you're not going to call them in if you make calls. You're probably going to call in the satellite bulls, some younger bulls, or spikes, 99% of the time. We still didn't really know where they were going, and it ended up that their feeding area was about another half mile around the mountain. So as we worked down from above on these elk, as they were rutting and bugling and pushing cows out to the feeding area, we got behind them. And once those elk started moving, we got behind them. That's kind of when the hunt ended. We just stayed with them as long as we could. And at the end there, we had that other nice bull peel back from the herd and eventually wind us to seal our fate. The only thing I would have done a little different here is be a little more aggressive, and when those elk were in the thickest areas, charge in and really cut that distance. But you live and learn, and we'll apply these tactics for next year. There's no scenario with elk and rut activity that are the exact same. So from this experience, we can build knowledge and take that with us and apply it on future hunts.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Outdoor Edge, the official knives and game processing sets for Eastmans Hunting TV. Quality knives and tools for all of your outdoor adventures. Eastman's Bowhunting Journal is brought to you by Bowtech, Refuse to Follow, Boning Archery, Unleash the Obsession, Zeiss, We Make It Visible, Technu, Outdoor Solutions since 1962.
Welcome back. We were smack in the middle of the Montana elk rut, and the bulls were really cranked up. Dan Pickar had several close encounters with some good rutting bulls, but the swirling high country winds finally caught up with him. Now Dan has returned to Montana in the middle of October, hoping to finally fill his elk tag before the bow season closes soon.
So we spotted these elk. They're on the move fast, so we're trying to hustle, get around in front of them and cut them off. That's basically what we're doing. They're moving fast, so we gotta move fast too. Well, we spotted some elk on the move. They went over the hill, but they're moving fast, so we dropped our packs up at the top, and we're just hustling down this draw down here and just trying to get in front of these elk as they're moving. They're a couple draws over. So we're gonna keep on working down and hopefully get in front of them where they cross. Well, the herd hung up on the hill. We're right above the crossing down here. The wind's coming up the draw. It's perfect if they would come down, but they're hung up there and they're starting to lay down. So we're just gonna sit here and hopefully that they'll move down here eventually, or hopefully they'll move where we can get on them. They're kind of bedded in a bowl. There's no way we can sneak up and get close. So it's just a waiting game now. It's been about an hour and they're just up there milling around and feeding. It's middle of October. The rut's pretty much over for the most part. So they're starting to move. They're starting to get up and feed across the hill above us. They're about 250, 300 yards. So we're gonna use this terrain right here and try and get around and get in front of them. They went over the hill. So we're gonna loop around and try and get in front of them. There's just not enough cover. Well, we got around in front of these elk, and we ran out of cover. We're at this rock point above them, and they're just milling around down here and slowly starting to lay down. So they're at 90 yards. We can't do anything. We're not gonna call. We don't want to call in a spike or a little bull. So we're just gonna wait here and wait for them to get up and start moving again, and hopefully they'll feed up below us under these rocks and we can, get a shot.
Eastman's Bowhunting Journal presents the Members Research section.
Today's MRS tip, I want to talk a little bit about application strategy and the blended approach. Basically, when you're applying for tags out west, you want to have what I call a blended approach. Some tags are just harder to draw than others, and you want to have a mixture of hard to draw tags and easy to draw tags in your portfolio. So when I'm applying for elk, for instance, I might put some easier states like Wyoming or Colorado in my mix, along with some harder states like Nevada, Utah, or Arizona. So you can make sure you get at least one elk tag each and every year. For more information like this, check out the MRS section, the Members Research section, in your copy of Eastman's Hunting or Eastman's Bowhunting Journal magazine. That section is only available in members' copies, and it'll help walk you through the entire application process and show you the tricks that we use to get tags out west every fall for big game hunting.
Presenting the Eastman's Trophy Deer Tour.
Today we're going to take a look at some of the huge bucks that are part of Eastman's Trophy Deer Tour. Each year we scour the country in search of 12 world-class deer to travel to various hunting shows and sporting events. So let's go check in with Roger Sellner and see which huge buck he has for us to take a look at today.
Here's a great archery mule deer taken by Jack Alton in Alberta, Canada in 2013. Grosses in the 215. Not a big rack, but lots of non-typical. Great archery deer, public land. It's a feature of the Eastman's 2015 Trophy Deer Tour. I'm Roger Sellner. Come see us at the shows.
This portion of the show has been brought to you by Gravedigger Broadheads, where accuracy meets devastation. Eastman's Bowhunting Journal is brought to you by Savage Arms, the definition of accuracy, outdoor edge, quality knives and tools for the big game hunter, and Eastman's Bowhunting Journal.
Well, we've been here since 3:30. It's 4:15 right now. Getting pretty cold, but they're sleeping like babies down there. Totally zonked out. We're just gonna keep sticking it out, and hopefully they get up soon. We're just trying to stay warm. It's a waiting game.
Welcome back to Montana on Eastman's Hunting TV. Even though a cold front is quickly moving in, causing the temperatures to drop like a rock, Dan proves that bow hunting is all about patience and fortitude.
Well, we've been out here for a little over an hour, and we don't have any other gear. We dropped our packs back by the truck, so we have nothing. We've been sitting out here, and it's getting pretty chilly. Hopefully I can draw my bow back. Still there. A couple cows have got up over on the left. Hopefully he gets up soon. It's about 4:30. Anytime they'll be getting back up to start feeding, so we'll keep hanging tough.
Despite the bone-numbing cold, Dan holds tight, patiently waiting for his shot at the bedded bull.
He's up and feeding. He's coming up right below us. It's about go time, so I'm gonna get in position. waited on it for an hour. Oh my gosh, it felt good. I felt good. He was slightly quartering to me, if not broadside. But like, I don't know. When he turned his head, his antler was probably blocking his chest, and I had to wait.
2013 Montana bull. What an amazing season. So many close calls. Drew back on bulls. Snow and rain and cold weather. We finally got this guy done. Bow season ends in 4 days. What a great feeling. Drew back on him and was able to make a good shot. I felt solid, felt great. Awesome animal, big old mature bull. All muddy, rutted up, had like 50 cows with him. Got in a wallow today. Seven on the right, 5 on the left. Now he broke his third. Just a warrior. What a great way to end 2013 bow season. Thanks for watching this week's episode. Remember, fair chase is the only way to hunt and take trophy big game. We'll see you right here next week with more Eastmans Hunting TV.